Hey, what's going on, guys? So, Neil Critchley has officially been appointed as Aston Villa's new assistant manager following the departure of Michael Beale to QPR. In the eyes of Blackpool supporters, Critchley's up there and even better than Ian Holloway, which is a big statement given that man got them promoted to the Premier League and had them playing an exciting and expansive brand of football, which was admired by one and all who witnessed it during the 2010-11 season. For context, to showcase the magnificent job Critchley has done over the last couple of years, Blackpool as a club have been in complete disarray, with regular protests taking place against former owners in the Oyston family. They even dropped all the way down to League 2 in the 2016-17 season and have been spending much of their time languishing in and around mid-table in League 1 ever since. With new ownership in the form of Simon Sandler coming in, they appointed Critchley mid-season during 2019-20. He stabilized the club before getting a full pre-season and some of his own transfers in the following year to win promotion to the Championship in 2020-2021. Impressively, they've comfortably stayed up last season, finishing 16th with 60 points, which is unbelievable progress given the complete mess Critchley had taken over from. The Championship is arguably the most unforgiving and frantic league in European football, and to achieve the results he has at the first time of asking is the most you can ask for, even if you had someone like a Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp in charge. It's every bit as good as winning a major trophy, in my opinion. Now, you might be wondering why on earth a head coach of a championship side would be leaving for an assistant gig. Money aside, Blackpool have invested quite heavily on a new training ground and stadium renovations. With this in mind, there's likely to be little to no funds available for transfers. Critchley probably realized that given the circumstances, he's taken the club as far as he can go, so by moving now while his stock is high, he can get another big job in a year or two, particularly if he showcases his tactical nous at Aston Villa. His Blackpool side have been playing some great football, and he even oversaw a 6-1 victory over Birmingham City, something that will no doubt be music to the ears of those at Villa Park. He also happens to be one of only 16 coaches in world football to have the highest possible UEFA badge. The caveat to this is that UEFA only ran the course to receive an elite badge for a year, but it's an impressive statistic nonetheless and further highlights just how qualified this man is for the role at hand. I've recently seen a few people saying that Steven Gerrard is all about vibes and PR while his assistants do the actual work. I disagree with this notion entirely. It's the manager's job to have the right people in the right positions. Not everyone has to be hands-on. Arguably the greatest of all time in Sir Alex couldn't oversee a training session to save his life, which just goes to show you how important it is to know your own strengths and weaknesses as the gaffer at the club. I mentioned this in a video I posted about Michael Beale, which you can access by clicking on the top right corner over there if you're interested, but given how open Gerrard has been about his own limitations from a coaching perspective, he clearly isn't fazed by this fact and is more than happy to take the backseat when it comes to setting up the side. It's what real leaders do, and if there's one thing Stevie G is, it's exactly that. Another important factor in this move is the fact that Critchley was in charge of Liverpool's under-18s for 4 seasons, under-23s for 3 seasons, and even stand-in for their first team due to fixture congestion when Klopp took his side to the FIFA Club World Cup, while Critchley oversaw a 5-0 defeat to none other than Aston Villa in the League Cup by fielding a team exclusively full of youth team players. He was also in charge of a 1-0 victory over Shrewsbury Town in the FA Cup 4th round, as Liverpool's first team were on a mid-season break. Taking all this into consideration, him and Gerrard clearly know each other very well, and it's important to have someone around that you can trust fully. Their existing relationship at Liverpool means they share the same values and ethos as one another, which will no doubt make the transition from Michael Beale's departure a lot smoother than one would initially expect. This also explains why he was lured away from Blackpool despite signing a 4.5-year contract in November of 2021. If things go the way they're expected to and Gerrard has a solid few years in Birmingham before taking over from Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool once he decides to leave, then perhaps Critchley will be given the chance to manage the first team himself. Obviously, this is complete guesswork, but it's not out of the realms of possibility by any means. Whichever way you look at it, plenty of change as well as reason to be excited at Villa Park at the minute. Things might not come off as the way supporters would want them to, but there's a very clear direction that the club want to head towards, and the level of planning behind the scenes illustrates that completely. Whether it be departures of star players or backroom staff, replacements have been brought in almost instantly. Time will tell whether they're as successful as their predecessors, but one thing that cannot be knocked is the thinking behind the moves. Cheers for tuning in, guys. Feel free to ask me any questions you may have. This man has been making a lot of noises in the championship, and rightly so. What he's done at Blackpool has been nothing short of extraordinary. I really look forward to seeing him get started, and don't be surprised if Villa play a completely different brand of football to what you saw last season, given all the changes that are taking place. I hope all of you have had a really great long weekend. I'm not really into the royal family or any of that bollocks, but I'm sure it's been a much needed break for all of us. Take care and have a great week ahead.